Do you remember when you first started sending text messages?
I do.
I do. I was in college. You know, the whole like new.
Was it the flip phone? It was on the flip phone.
The flip phone. I had the pink Razor. Well, Nokia first. Well, yeah, the flip phone. You had to learn a whole new language. You know, the LOL, BT Dub, BRB.
Yeah, I did it on the StarTAC. Remember the StarTAC? Anyway, when you retire, there's some more abbreviations you'll need to learn.
Omaha's retirement strategist Darrell Bryant is here to explain.
Yeah, Darrell's one of the area's leading financial advisors.
He hosts a weekly retirement radio show in Omaha that airs Saturday mornings on 1110 KFAB, and he helps folks in Omaha make the financial transition into retirement. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good to see you. I'm always excited to see your suit choice.
Oh, well,
and your jackets. You have great style.
Well,
Darrell.
I'm nothing if not color coordinated. Look at Mike.
Yeah, we all planned so well today. I mean,
nice look at this. What pocket square matches your.
Yeah. Well, like I think I looked nice today too. Thanks, guys. I'm
oh
just
yeah,
kidding.
and there's you.
Yeah, and then there's me. Yeah, whatever. I'm just kidding. Well, Darrell, let's talk about. We're talking about RMDs today.
Sure.
What is the correct way to take these?
Well,
what is it?
What is it? Let's start with that. What is it first?
That sounds like a good idea. RMD is something that confuses most people when they come into the office. Some people don't even know what an RMD is. So it's a required minimum distribution. You are required to take a minimum amount called a distribution from your IRA, from your old 401k, from your old 403b, or whatever it is that you have. And that begins at age 70 and a half. But it's a very confusing topic for a lot of people because a lot of people have multiple IRAs. You may have a Fidelity IRA and a Schwab IRA and a whatever. So you have all these different IRAs. Maybe you have an old 401k. Maybe you're 70 and a half and you're still working and you have a 401k. So how do you assimilate all these? Can you pile all these in? You know, when it comes time to take your RMD, what you're required to do is take, there's a formula for it, but it's roughly 3.6% of whatever your total IRA stuff
whatever is in that account.
Okay? Yeah. Well, whatever's in all of your accounts.
All the accounts.
Think of it that way.
Yeah, okay.
So I have 5 $100,000 IRAs. I must satisfy an amount of $500,000. So I'm going to have to take 3.6%-ish, okay? Now you need to follow the tax table, but there's a minimum amount that you have to take from the total of those IRAs. Now you could take those individually. Sure, you could say, well, I'll take my 3.6 here, 3.6, 3.6, et cetera. Yeah. Or you could just add them all up, multiply that times 3.6%-ish, okay, check your tax table, and then take that simply from one of your accounts, your least favorite account, for example.
Gotcha.
Right.
Where people get into trouble is they start talking about when I turn 70, when I turn 70 and a half. Wait, I think there's a thing where I can wait until April 15th, or is it the first of the year following the year that, wait a second, that was 2008 and 9 when the market fell. So there's all types of information that is swirling around the industry, and a lot of people in our industry don't even understand, unfortunately, really what the rules are. So it's a good idea to consult your CPA at all times, but it's a confusing topic, and if you don't do it right.
That was my next question. Do these withdrawals happen automatically at the percentage that you're required to take out, or do you have to calculate that on your own and figure out what to pull out?
Great question. So first of all, let's talk about a couple of preferred methods. Number one, you could start calculating at your age 70 and a half. You could say, you know what, I think every year what I'll do is I'll drop by your office, and some people will do this, and they'll say, I'm going to calculate, I'm going to have you calculate how much I need to take from each of these, and we'll do this manually every year. Some people, on the other hand, in my office will have many IRAs. They'll have different pockets for different purposes. So we might say, you know what, let's just do it what we would call pro rata across the board. So let's just set this up this year, one and done. So we're going to calculate from each of these IRAs right now, and this is the only time you're ever going to do this. And so we're going to instruct these custodians to annually calculate and send you your RMD from forevermore, okay? Sure. For as long as the account is with this entity, they're going to calculate your RMD, required minimum distribution, and send that to you, okay? The problem is this, is if you don't do what you're supposed to do, the Fed will penalize you 50% of what you were supposed to take. It's the largest tax penalty.
50% of that whatever
yeah, 50%. So let's say a guy has, let's say the Fed, or your required minimum distribution is $20,000, okay? If you don't take that $20,000, the Fed will come along and they'll say, guess what, you owe us $10,000.
Wow.
So please go ahead and take the distribution you should have taken 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Ship us $10,000 in the meantime. And by the way, you owe tax not on the $10,000 that you received, but on the entire $20,000. So now what does that math look like? If you don't get this right, and this is why we're having seminars coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we do these every year, if you don't get this right in that scenario, let's say you're in a 25% tax bracket, you're supposed to take your 20, okay? You would have netted 15, right? Instead, you didn't take your 20, so you shipped the Fed 10, and you still owe 5 on the 20, so now you're down to 5. So if you didn't do it right, now you get $5,000 comes to the house, okay? As opposed to the 15 you should have had.
How sick would you be if you missed that the time period and you had to send some of that money to the Feds?
It's a terrible thing.
And I'm sure it happens.
Right.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. And then you run into, here's where it gets confusing, Mike, is what if I'm still working? What if I have a 401k at work? Am I supposed to take from that? Because it seems like if I were putting into that, are they going to turn around and, you know, what's the rule on that? What about old 401ks? What about lumping the old 401ks in with the IRAs? There are a lot of little loopholes where there are a lot of gotchas.
Right.
And last thing is this, the most important thing you can do when we do the math is determine if I just don't even need this thing. I don't need that $20,000, that $40,000 per year. This is very common for a retiree once we do the math. What can I do with those dollars? What creative things can I do with that RMD that I don't even need to create enormous wealth for my family or some nice tricky tax maneuver? So we'll get into that at the seminar.
Just scratching the surface here.
Yes. Well, Darrell is holding an exclusive RMD workshop later this month. Great information. At the workshop, you'll learn how your RMDs are calculated, how you can turn your retirement withdrawals into predictable income, and how you can avoid IRS penalties.
Well, that's the most important thing. You want to avoid those penalties, and there are 2 opportunities to attend. You got October 19th or the 24th. It'll be held at the prestigious Champions Run Country Club at 6:30. Attendees, they're going to enjoy some complimentary dinner, and the seats are filling up fast at this, Darrell, aren't they?
Very fast. I think we already have 90 signed up, so for the couple of days, and we're still a week and a half out.
Yeah,
so call right away and we'll get you.
And Darrell has set aside 10 seats for qualified Blend viewers today only. All you have to do is call 402-932-2141 right now. Again, the first 10 callers right now who qualify get that reserved seat at Darrell's upcoming RMD workshop.
It will be fascinating.
You got to be nearing retirement,
Fascinating.
though. Yes.
Yeah, but it is really, really good information. We'll have some. We'll throw some candy bars around the room and have fun with it. But it should be fun, especially at Champions. Why not?
Important information. Thanks, Darrell.
Awesome. Thank you.
Guest of the